Good morning. Today is Friday, the 25th day in the month of Iyar. And we are holding on the fifth portion, the sixth, in the portion of Bahar B'chukotai. So the pasuk we are holding on chapter 27, verse number 1. Vayidab Hashem Moshe, and God spoke to Moshe. Verse number 2, Dabar B'nai Yisrael, speak to the Jewish nation. V'amarta alehem, and you shall tell them. Verse number 2, Dabar V'amarta alehem, you shall tell them. You shall tell them. 1 second. You shall tell them, Ish kiyafli neder. If a man will make a vow, he'll make a vow. He will make a vow. He'll pledge his value. He'll say, the value of myself, I'm giving to the Beis Hamikdash. I'm giving to God. That's a verbal expression to give his valuation of his life, saying, I take upon myself to donate to the Holy Temple the value of a vital organ. I'm going to give the value of my soul, the value of my heart, the value of my brain. So this is going to be the value. Verse number 3. The value of a male, of a man from 20 to 60 is a value of 50 silver shekel. The shekel HaKodesh. So Rashi says, the value stated here is not an expression of monetary value. The usual market value of a person sold as a slave might be more. But whatever he is a high market or value market or low, the value fixed for him in this passage is according to his age. So it's not the value of what he is as a person. Maybe he would be less than it, or maybe he would be more. This is a Torah value. In the aspect of the Torah gives a value to a person who sanctifies himself. Interesting, next to Rashi says the word erech. The last letter in the word is a chaf, is not the second person suffix your, but rather a double or preceding letter chaf. And therefore this word, the same erech value, I do not know what the double is donated here, erkecha. You should have said the word erech. So Rashi says, I don't know why the pasuk, imagine Rashi, who knew the whole Torah, says, I don't know why the pasuk, why the Torah puts an extra letter in the word. It should have said erech, but there must be some reason why the Torah adds an extra two chafs, chaf and chaf. Verse number 4. If it's a woman, then the value is 30 shekel. So from 20 to 60, it's 50 for a man, 30 for a woman. If it's from 5 years old, until 20, 5 to 20, the male is 20, and then for a woman, for a girl, it's 10. Rashi is not, we're talking about how does a 5-year-old child give the value. 5-year-old child, full bar mitzvah, cannot do this. So Rashi says, we're talking about like a father says, I'm giving the value of my son. That's 5 years old. Verse number 6. It's for a child that's a month until 5 years old. So the male is 5 shekel. And for the girl, it's 3 shekel. Now we go to verse 7. If we're holding 60 60 and above, if from a man, it goes to 15 shekel. Wow, he devalues from 50 to 15. And a woman, asara shkalim, she goes from 30 to 10. So Rashi says, you see that an old man is less value, devaluates more than a woman. Here in the Torah says the simple from 1 month old till 60, the value of a male is more. But suddenly at 60, he deflates. When people reach a vulnerable age, a woman's value becomes closer to that of a man. This is why a man decreases in value in his old age to beyond a third of his value. As an adult male is 50 shekel, now he's 15. While a woman in her old age decreases only 1/3 of her value. She was 30 and she came 10. As people say, an old man in the house is a breach in the house, or a snare in the house, while an old woman in the house is a hidden treasure in the house and a good sign.
Oh, that's good to know, Rabbi.
Okay, you see that? So that's it. Old man in the house, son of a bias. It's a problem in the house. If you have an old woman in the house, it's always good to have a good bubba, a good mama in the house. So the man decreases, he deflates in value very fast at the age of 60. Verse number 8. If he's too poor to pay the valuation. But he made the vow. And he said, I'm going to give the value of myself. Now suddenly I'm under 60 and I have to give now 50 shekel. I don't have 50 shekel. So now he comes to the kohen. The kohen will say, okay, how much can you afford? Let me see your tax returns. How much can you afford to give to the Beis Hamikdash? What the person can give, the kohen will say, okay, your value is 10 shekel, give 10 shekel, and you're out. So that's the law of one's value. What is the value? This is the concept of the Torah. This is not something like the Rashi said in the beginning. It's not something that usually a value of a person is evaluated, so to say, in the value they like when they sell people, and you evaluate the value of a person. This is a Torah law. It doesn't make a difference what is with the person, whether the person is sick or whether the person that's under 60 has missing limbs. It doesn't make a difference. It's the age, and if a person under 60, a man is 50, and etc. Okay, verse number 9. If an animal whose type is fit to be brought as a carbon, Lashem, as an offering to God, any part that he donates to the Beis Hamikdash becomes holy. What does that mean? So Rashi says, if a person says, the leg of this animal shall be a burnt offering. There's no such thing as a leg of an animal, burnt offering, in the whole animal. But he says that. He says the statement, I'm giving the leg of the animal to the Beis Hamikdash. These words have validity. And how is his vow expedited? So the entire animal except its leg should be sold to one who needs a burnt offering. So what you do is you go to the market, say, who's bringing an oila to the Beis Hamikdash? And you say, okay, here is an oila, but you can't sell the leg because you donated the leg to the Beis Hamikdash. So you have to only sell the animal besides its legs. You have to evaluate how much is the leg part of the animal. And the money received from the sale, which excludes the value of the limb, as stated above, becomes non-consecrated. And then the entire animal can be brought by both parties as a burnt offering. And that's what you do. Now you bring the animal to the Beis Hamikdash. Part of it is the leg of the animal, the other person is the rest of the animal. And then the Torah says, verse number 10, shall not exchange it or offer a substitute for it. Whether it's a good or a bad, we say, I'll give another animal. If you're going to substitute it, you know what's going to happen? Both of them will become holy. So you can, when it's oila, an oila cannot be substituted. You have to bring it as an oila. Now you have a problem. You're tough luck. You're gonna have to figure out, as Rashi said before, the way to do it is to go and find a person You said a stupid statement that the foot should be an oila, a burnt offering. Now you're gonna have to figure out how to find somebody else to be part of this animal. If nobody wants to be part of you, the oila, you're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have a problem. But you can't substitute it, because if you're gonna do that, you're gonna do the next stupid thing and substitute the animal. Both of them are gonna be holy. Verse 11. If any unclean animal whose type shall not be brought, and I shall soon explain, not be brought often to the Lord, and then he shall stand up the animal before the kohen. What does that mean? So Rashi says it means, but the case of an unclean animal is stated later in the verse. So what is an unclean animal meant over here? Text is speaking about a blemished animal, which is unclean, unfit for sacrifice. And the scripture is teaching us that an unblemished, consecrated animal cannot leave their holy status and enter into mundane status through redemption unless they become blemished. So with this is a different law. This is a blemished animal who becomes blemished. Now you cannot bring it as a sacrifice, not because you only consecrated the leg, because basically the animal is blemished. You can't bring a blemished animal as a sacrifice. What do you do in such a situation? The kohen shall then evaluate it, whether it's good or bad. The evaluation of the kohen shall be for anyone else but the owner who wishes to purchase it from the possession of the temple. So it becomes part of the temple. And now the kohen, as we know, in the temple, there was a place in the Beis Hamikdash where there was animals for sacrificial offerings, right next to the Mizbeach. It was always sacrificed animals there in general for the sacrificial offerings in the temple. But there were this animal too. If a person brought a sacrifice and there's a blemish to it, so the kohen would take it, he would evaluate it. And he'll have to sell it to somebody else. But let's say the owner wants to redeem it himself. He says, you know what? I'll buy it back. It's blemished. Okay, what should I do? I'll buy it back. Then he has to add a fifth to the value. If the value of the animal is $5, he has to add a fifth to that value. So Rashi says, if the owner himself redeems the animal, scripture is more stringent with the owner obligated to add a fifth to its value. When somebody else buys it, doesn't have to add a fifth. The owner has to add a fifth. Likewise, in the case of the one who consecrated his house, and likewise in the case of one who consecrated his field, and likewise in the case of redemption of a second tithe. In these cases, the owner must add a fifth to the value. But no one else who redeems it needs to add a fifth. And that's a Torah law. The owner needs to add a fifth. He wants to substitute. So again, you cannot substitute an animal that you've consecrated the wrong way. But if the animal becomes blemished, then we can substitute the animal. Verse 14. Is basic a man consecrated his house. He says, I give the house to the temple. The kohen would evaluate. Whatever the value is, and the kohen would sell. What does the kohen need? What does the Beis Hamikdash need your house? So the Beis Hamikdash will take the house, sell the house according to what they evaluated, and now the house can be sold to anybody. And the Beis Hamikdash will self-understood receive the money. The one who sanctified the house comes and says to the Beis, you know what? Let me be the first buyer. I want to buy my house back. Why wouldn't the kohen want to sell him back his house? Well, when the person himself comes to redeem his own house, the Yosef Chamishi has to add a fifth. Whatever the kohen will evaluate the value of the house, he, the owner, the original owner that consecrated the house, needs to add a fifth. And then the Hayaloyat shall be his. And that ends the Chumash of the day. It's important that tomorrow, Mitzhem, and Shabbos, you read the last portion, Chazak, Chazak, and you finish the Chumash of the day. You finish the Chumash tomorrow in the book of Leviticus. On Sunday, we'll start the book of Numbers in Mitzvah. We now go to the Tanya of the day, and I've been waiting for this day. We are in the third part of chapter 51. The Alter Rebbe, in the first two parts, has been trying to explain us the analogy of the soul and the body. And now he comes to the way God comes into the world. In truly similar manner. Again, this is an analogy because you cannot compare a soul and a body, which both are created entities, to God and the world. It's just an analogy. You have to understand the concept of the analogy. An analogy is only something that is similar in our minds, as the Torah says, as the Talmud says, that the Torah talks in the language of man. It's an analogy. God sees, God hears. This is just that's like why the Torah say God sees and God hears, because we understand what seeing and hearing is, but there's no concept like that in godliness. He's above that concept, and God doesn't have eyes and doesn't have ears. He doesn't have any form. So it's just an analogy. And so too, the Alter Rebbe says this is also an analogy. I'm not telling you that God is like the soul. The soul is a creation and God is the creator. So there's no comparison between the two. But figuratively, again, figuratively. And that's why in this concept, there's so many ways to understand it because it's figuratively, so every person understands it differently. Self-understood. Figuratively, does the blessed Eid and Seif, infinity, comes into the world to animate it. So there is a marked similarity between the soul pervading the body and Ein Sof, infinite God, permeating all the worlds. Just as in an analogy, the soul is found within and suffused in the entire body. In parallel manner, Ein Sof fills and is found in all the worlds. That's the expression we started off the chapter, where the sages say, from my own body, I can see God. That's the analogy. From my body, from where my soul is in my body, I can understand godliness. In each world, there are creatures, creations, unlimited. So even in the spiritual world, which is also creation, madregis malach neshamas. We explained already. In each world, how many malachim are there? Unlimited. How many souls are there? Unlimited. And so too within the worlds, there's so many levels. One upon the other. So is there a number? I can't give you a number. Like you can't give a number to the stars. There's just an unbelievable number, and that's the stars they know. So it's an unbelievable number. Now the core, this is important to know. This is important to understand that the core, the essence of God, is the same as in the higher and the lower worlds. To God, there's no higher and lower. Higher and lower is a human word. By us, things are higher and lower. By God, there's no concept of higher and lower. It's equal, higher and low. So too when the neshama comes into your body, there's no difference to the core of your neshama, your head or your toe. It's all a equal force within the soul. As is brought in a Kabbalah in a different expression, the ius sismu, the cult sismu. He's hidden from all hidden. What does that mean? That he's hidden from all hidden. That even in the higher worlds, spiritual worlds, Matzilus and Bria, Yitzhira, these are spiritual worlds in comparison to this physical world. He's still hidden. Because everything, again, even the higher worlds, the spiritual, that's a creation. So God, who is the creator, is hidden in that world as he's hidden in this world. The question again is the degree of hiddenness, but he's hidden. That's going to like explain to somebody who has infinite, there's no difference between a penny and a billion. Because to infinity, both are equal. They're both a limited number. Who saw some in who saw some like he's hidden in the below. So like he's hidden in this world, he's hidden above. Question is, how much is he hidden? Why is he hidden even in the upper world? Because less machshava tvisa beklal. Because no thought can apprehend him, not us in this world, and not the highest levels of angels and souls in the upper worlds. Nobody can comprehend God. Because God is infinite. And every soul and every angel and every concept, spiritual concept, is a creation. He's limited. Even in the higher worlds. And God is in the upper world like he's in the lower world. This is important because people think, oh, the God from the heavens is not here. No, God is right here. So what is the upper worlds and what is the lower worlds? If God is right here, like he's in the upper worlds. So again, this was emphasized yesterday in the class, the JLI class. The difference between a higher and lower, why is one called higher and one's called lower? Not because God is more in the higher than the lower. Is with regard to the flow of vitality, which the blessed, of course, caused to flow and illuminate in a manner of revelation out of concealment. The difference is that one is more revealed and one is more concealed. And again, that can be that two people are in the exact same place. One sees and one doesn't. One sees and one doesn't. The thing is there. One can see it, one can't see it. Person that is blind cannot see it. Person that sees can see it. The thing is there whether the person sees it or not. So it's not about the God, it's about the person that can see or not see. That was one of the reasons Alter Rebbe says that in generally we call hashpah of God, we always use the word oir, the light of God. It's called a light. Let's look at the interpretation. In Kabbalistic literature, the flow and vitality of godness is termed light, rather than shefa, as it's termed in Jewish philosophy. They use the word shefa, which is flux, influx. Light. Why does the Alter Rebbe Chassidus, they always use the word light? Abba use the word light. Light signifies revelation out of concealment. Previously, light has been concealed within the luminaries. The source of light and subsequently it is drawn forth from the source and is revealed as light. Thus, in case of revelation out of concealment, only a minute illumination of source is drawn down into the revealed state. Not so with the shefa, where the actual flux and stream, source that flows down is revealed. So flux means a running of water, shefa. The water that is above comes below. Hence the phrase, shifas mayim, a flow of water. The self-same water that was previously in the one place flows to another. But we consider God as an oid. The energy is an oid. And this light is changed, so to say. Not the light itself, but the way it's revealed is changed. So in one place it's revealed more, and in another place there's a mesa, so it's revealed differently. That example, the simple example is given. You take a light and you put one screen in front of it. The light comes through. And then you put another screen and another screen and another screen. The light is changing. It's not because of the light. It's because of the concealments that is changing the light. The light is the same Erd Pashat. The light is the same light that was before the first screen. Hasn't changed the light itself. The separation, that screen, now changed the light. Not the light, but changed the revelation of the light. So now the light was Urpa, was simple light, whatever is white. And now I put a screen red, it comes out red. That means the light in its original place was red? No. Then I put a green screen, it's going to come out something totally different. It'll be a mixture of red and green. Then I put another screen, it's going to be a mixture, etc. and etc. That's the concept of Tzimtzum. The Eibishter put, so to say, a screen. But the light that was before the screens, all these Tzimtzumim, is the same light that comes out of the last screen. It could be 1,000 screens. But if the 1,000 screens, a very small light comes out because it went through 1,000 screens. But it's the same light. The light itself has not changed. Thereby animating the worlds and the creatures there. That's how ultimately it goes through 4 screens. That's why we have the Seder Shtalshas, 4 screens, 4 worlds, which are 4 major contractions, 4 major concealments. But the concealment is in the vessel, not in the earth. That's important to remember and understand. The concealment is in the vessel, not in the light. In the higher worlds, receive a higher vitality, but the light is more revealed in it. Its original light is more revealed in the upper worlds, and the lower worlds, the light is more diminished because it's been contracted and contracted and contracted and contracted. So the light ultimately that comes to this world is, as I call it, low voltage. Comes very low voltage. But it's the same light that's in the higher voltage, in the upper higher worlds. And all created thereon, all created beings ultimately in this low worlds, in the higher worlds, receive the revealed aspect of that, albeit each according to its own capacity and nature. So again, just as an analogy, each body organ receives vitality from the brain according to its character and nature. So too, the Alter Rebbe states, in the analogy that each creature receives its vitality according to its capacity and nature. Noted the Rebbe. This means that each being receives vitality according to its capacity to have the life force and the vitality revealed within it, and according to the manner in which the vitality is to be revealed, whether it's a revelation of intellect and comprehension or in a motive manner. But this is not to say that the nature conceals the revelation. Rather, it imbues and illuminates it. Because we are a vessel for that revelation. That's the beauty. Well, I understand now what the beauty of the Rebbe wants to say. The Rebbe wants to say that our body fits our soul to a T. And Chas shown to say that our body will always hide our soul. No, it fits it to a T because our body was created also in a way that it fits our neshama to imbue our neshama, to illuminate it. The only reason why we don't do that is because we don't want to. But can each and every one of us take whatever spark of godliness that we have within our body, our neshama, and illuminate that the body and illuminate the soul 100%, because our body and our soul, the Eibush knew exactly the kind of neshama and the kind of body that I need. That's the concept with ultimately God gives every person the level of soul and the level of body that he needs. and the capacity and the capability and the purpose of his neshama and his body. It fits like a glove. That's the beauty of this concept. So just like the neshama comes into the body, and the neshama, in this neshama, in the essence of the neshama, everything is one. And then ultimately the toenail gets what it gets. It doesn't get the vitality of the heart or the brain. It gets what it needs to be a toenail and to do the service to the body that a toenail does. So too, God ultimately comes down into the world and gives every, not only every human being, but every physical entity its vitality that it needs to be a body and a soul. So in the source, it's all one entity, but then God comes down and doesn't give me more than I can handle. That's also could be an expression. God doesn't ask anybody something that he cannot do. He doesn't ask you to do somebody else's service. He doesn't ask you to be somebody else. God knows exactly what you need and what you need to overcome all things in these things in life, the body's struggles, the body's journey. God gives each and every person their capabilities and their value. Which is the nature and form of the particular flow, which the blessed himself imbues and illuminates it. And that's why every morning I believe we say, Mahida Anila Fanecha, Josdakta Bi Ishmati. I thank you, God, for returning within me my neshama. I have a particular neshama and I have a particular body. And they fit. And they're going to work together. The body and the soul is going to work together to do the mission of HaKadosh Baruch. Because my body, but I don't mean, body does not per se mean only I'm not talking about physical body only. Body means my physical side of me, my intellect, my emotions, my character. And I'm going to imbue it with my soul. And I'm going to bring them together to bring out the purpose of the body and the soul. That's why God brought me down to the world. So that is the beauty of this kind of, and ultimately nobody receives, even the higher doesn't receive unlimited light. Everybody receives what it's capable. Whether you're in the upper world, you're a soul, whether you're a malach, whether you're a spiritual entity, or you're a mundane guy in this world. Everybody, Baruch Hashem, receives what he needs to receive, what is capable of receiving. So ultimately, God is hidden from all of us. That's what it says. Nobody can understand God, whether you're in this world, whether you're in the upper world. But only by means of garments, wherein the blessed invests the vitality and light, which he causes to flow and shine on them in order to animate them. So the Eibishter did a taiva. This is a great taiva, a great chesed that God does. That he puts himself into these garments so that I should have my vitality. I should be who I am. If God will reveal, really the truth is we're all one entity. All the Jewish nation, the whole humanity, we're all human beings. We all come out of one entity. But then we're not the same thing. I'm Zalman bukiet, and you're who you are. And that's the beauty. If God will reveal the essence, that's what it says. When Mashiach comes, all humanity will speak in one language. Why? Because there'll be revelation. If there'll be revelation, all humanity will just speak in one language. Today, everybody's speaking a different language, which is not a terrible thing. It's a positive thing. if we would all speak in different languages for the same purpose. It would be like a rainbow. We would have many colors. Things wouldn't just be black and white. Things today are colorful. You can take it in a negative way, you can take it in a positive way. Things are colorful, we are different, we express ourselves different. But if we would all have the same purpose, then it wouldn't be so terrible that we are different. Problem is that it can be a negative thing that we have so many levushim that God is so hidden that we forget God. And that's the negative thing, self thing about it. We can also deny God. It's so hidden, the godliness that within us, that we could deny God. Not because God's not there, because God's hidden. These garments within the blessed and safe is concealed light and vitality is so strong and powerful. And thereby the life force and light he created this world that is very corporal and physical. Very physical. And God creates and animates it by the vitality and light which he draws down and shines forth onto it. The illumination is the light that is enclosed and hidden and concealed within numerous powerful garments which hide and conceal the light of vitality. It's interesting, you should know, the Alter Rebbe keeps on using the word garments. I used before the world. I used the analogy of a curtain or a. Alter Rebbe uses the word garments. That there's a purpose. It's brought down. Why the Alter Rebbe of Siddur use the word garment? Because garments you can take off. You have the capability of taking off these garments. There's expression in the prophets. One of the Torahs, God says to the angel says to the person, to the prophet, take off your dirty garments. Take away these garments. Take away this concealment. We have the capability to take away that garment. We're wearing these garments. We like it sometimes. We like the unknown, the not to know. Ignorance is bliss. But you can take away the garment. You can take away the concealment. But what happens when you can keep on wearing more and more garments? So the no light or vitality whatsoever is visible, revealed, but only corporal, physical things that appear lifeless. The whole world is dead. You don't see any life in it. Nevertheless, whether they look like they're dead or not, like a rock, but everything has a life force in it. There's a godly life force in every aspect of the world. This life force gives it a life existence that comes from nothing to something continuously, and that it should not return to nothingness as it was. And this light comes from the infinite light of God. Only thing is, it's clothed itself in many garments. As brought down in the Zohar, that the light and vitality of the physical orb of the earth, which is seen by the mortal eye, is derived from Malchus of the world of Asir. So you have to go. You have 4 levels of the worlds. Atzil is the world of emanation, the world of creation, the world of formation, the world of action, and within this world you have 10 levels. And within the 10 levels you have 10 levels, right? Because each level, each sphera, has within it 10. So there's 100 levels. And then you subdivide it even more into 1,000 levels. So we are Malchus, we are the lowest of the lowest. Think about how many garments, how many covers this light has been traveling through for ultimately to give to give vitality to this world. But ultimately, in Malchus, in the aspect, the lowest level of the world of Asiya, is enclosed it, Malchus the Yitzira, the world of Yitzira. And from there to the world of Bria. And from the, again, because the light still comes from the essence of God. Doesn't make a difference how many garments you're going to put upon it, how many layers of hiddenness you're going to put upon this light. And what's going to come ultimately out is a very, very low light. It still comes from the same light that comes from the world of Atzilus, from the world of emanation. So it comes still from the Yutzvidas to Atzilus. It comes from the 10 manifestations of the world of Atzilus, the first world in the spiritual realms of things, which is, where does the light come into the world of emanation? Comes from Ein Sof Baruch Hu, comes from from God, who's infinite. So the light has not changed. It's the vessel, it's the garment that changed, that, so to say, affected the light, to diminish the light. But it's the same light, the same light. So the light, the earth that I reveal in this world, if I take off a small garment in this world, and I reveal the soul the way it's in this world, I'm revealing really the light of Ein Sof Baruch Hu. I'm revealing the infinite light of God through taking off the garment. That's why Chassidus says the whole purpose of creation, and then why the Eibishter hid his light, by Erev, by Voika, as I mentioned last night, that there's a concept of darkness and we bring light into darkness. Great is light that's revealed from darkness. That's our service, to reveal the light in the darkness. Why? Because by us taking off this garment, revealing the light, we're revealing godliness in this world. We're revealing the essence of the light that started off this whole process by me taking off this garment, by me bringing a little light in the darkness, in this dark concept. I'm revealing God in the world. And that is the whole purpose of creation. And that's the reason why I was brought to the world, is to reveal light in this corporal, dark, physical world. But I'm not really creating anything. I'm just revealing something that is there. I'm revealing something that is there to be from beginning. But all the way from the beginning, from the highest, before even the highest spiritual worlds, I'm just revealing that light in this world. That is the Tanya of the day. And the Tillim, the Psalms of the day is half of chapter 119. And from the letter Aleph to the letter Mem, if you do the Tillim, half of chapter 119, you have done the Chitas of the day. So tomorrow is Shabbos Mevorchim. The Shabbos we bless the new month, the month of Sivan, which is coming upon us in Mitzvah this week. And we end the book of Leviticus, Chazak, V'nis Chazek. So it's a very special Shabbos. I wish you all a wonderful, beautiful Shabbos, and you should learn the Chitas of tomorrow, tomorrow, the Tanya of the day, and the Chita and the Chumash of the day, completing the book of Leviticus. I want to also say that slowly this week in Mitzvah, I'm going to complete the Tanya again. The first part of Tanya, the first 53 chapters of Tanya, we're coming closer again to finish together the first 53 chapters of the Alter Rebbe's Tanya. It's also a wonderful thing to do together. I wish you all a wonderful, beautiful Shabbos. Have a wonderful Shabbos, a happy Shabbos, a healthy Shabbos. See you all in Shul, hopefully. If not, see you all on Sunday morning at 8 a.m., which will start the book of Bamidbar, the book of Numbers. Have a wonderful Shabbos. God bless.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. And
Shabbat
Thank you,
everybody,
Rabbi.
everybody in Boca, have a nice Shabbos
You
from New
too,
York.
Sarah.